What if the thing you desire most in the world turns out to be the thing that costs you everything? In the land of Evermere, nestled between misty mountains and shimmering lakes, happiness was something everyone sought, but few truly understood. People whispered of an ancient treasure hidden deep in the heart of the whispering forest. It was said that whoever found this treasure would gain the secret to true happiness. Our story begins with a young girl named Clara. She was kind, intelligent, and full of dreams, but deep inside, she felt something was missing. Clara lived in a quaint village at the edge of Evermere, where everyone seemed to measure happiness by how much gold or how many jewels they owned. But Clara believed happiness was more than just riches. One fateful evening, Clara overheard a conversation between two travelers in the village square. "The secret to true happiness is real," whispered one man, his voice barely audible. "But only the bravest can find it." Clara's heart raced. Could it be true? Could she discover the secret that had eluded so many? Clara decided she had to try. Early the next morning, she packed her satchel with bread, a small flask of water, and a tattered map given to her by her late grandmother. The map was said to lead to the Whispering Forest, the place where the treasure of happiness was hidden. As Clara ventured into the forest, the world around her transformed. The sunlight barely pierced the canopy of leaves above, and the air was thick with the scent of pine and moss. Birds sang songs that sounded almost like whispers, and the wind carried secrets only the trees could understand. Clara wasn't alone for long. Along her journey, she met a young boy named Leo who was searching for his lost sister. Leo was clever and quick-witted, but he carried a sadness in his eyes. Clara offered to help him, and in return, Leo promised to guide her through the forest. Their path was not easy. They faced steep hills, raging rivers, and mysterious creatures that watched them from the shadows. But as they traveled together, Clara and Leo became friends, sharing stories and laughter that made their burdens feel lighter. Their journey brought them to the Valley of Greed, where the ground glittered with gold coins and precious gems. A voice echoed through the valley. "Take as much as you desire, but beware, for the weight of greed will slow you down." Clara hesitated, but Leo couldn't resist. "We might need this gold later," he said, filling his pockets. Clara, however, picked up only a single gold coin, saying, "One is enough for me." As they left the valley, Leo began to struggle. His pockets grew heavier and heavier until he could barely walk. Finally, Clara convinced him to let go of the gold, reminding him that wealth wasn't worth sacrificing their journey. Reluctantly, Leo emptied his pockets and they pressed on. Deeper in the forest, Clara and Leo stumbled upon an ancient, cracked mirror standing in a clearing. An inscription above it read, "See yourself as you truly are." When Clara looked into the mirror, she saw her reflection change. She saw herself not as she was, but as she feared to be, lonely, forgotten, and unfulfilled. The sight brought tears to her eyes, but she didn't look away. Instead, she whispered, "This is my fear, but it doesn't define me." Leo, however, refused to look. He was too afraid of what he might see. Clara gently encouraged him, saying, "Facing the truth is the first step to finding happiness." With Clara's support, Leo finally looked, and though he was shaken, he felt a sense of relief. Their next challenge was the River of Doubt, a wide, rushing river filled with sharp rocks and treacherous currents. A wooden raft floated by the shore, but as they stepped onto it, the river began whispering to them. "You'll never make it," the river hissed. "You're too weak, too small, too unworthy." The doubts grew louder and louder, threatening to consume them. Clara closed her eyes and took a deep breath. She reminded herself of all the challenges they had already overcome. "We've come this far," she said firmly. "We can do this." Leo, inspired by Clara's courage, began rowing with all his strength. Together, they crossed the river, leaving the doubts behind. Finally, Clara and Leo reached the heart of the Whispering Forest, a hidden glade bathed in golden light. At its center stood a pedestal, atop which lay a simple wooden box. Clara's hands trembled as she opened the box. Inside, she found nothing, just an empty space. Confused and disappointed, Leo cried out, "Was this all for nothing?" But Clara smiled. She looked around at the beauty of the glade, at Leo, and at her reflection in the box's polished interior. "The secret to happiness isn't a thing you can hold," she said softly. "It's the journey we've taken, the fears we've faced, and the friends we've made along the way." Suddenly, the forest came alive with light and music. The trees whispered in unison, "You have found the secret of true happiness. It was within you all along." Clara and Leo returned to the village as heroes, not because they brought back gold or jewels, but because they carried with them a story that inspired everyone to seek happiness in courage, kindness, and truth. Clara shared her wisdom with the villagers, helping them see that happiness wasn't about what you owned, but about the connections you built and the courage you showed. As Clara's story ends, she turns to the camera and says, "True happiness is a journey, not a destination." If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more magical adventures. See you in the next story.